welcome to Live Interactive English. I'm Mike, and it is fall. Yes, it is. October is the month we're in. It's a great time to travel if you do have the chance to travel. And yes, these days traveling, well, basically anywhere, is a lot more challenging and even difficult than it has been for a long time. But we're getting used to it and things are getting better. So if in the fall you do get a chance to travel, one thing people love to do, especially people in Taiwan, is go to other parts of the world where the fall trees, the leaves on the trees start to change color. Of course, you can see this in parts of North America. Over in Europe, countries will have beautiful leaves in the fall, but also Japan is a very close location that will have lots of beautiful fall colors as the green leaves of summer change to the yellow, orange, red leaves of the fall. So if you want to go and do that, if you love to paint or take pictures of this sort of thing with your camera, Japan is a lot closer than some of those other places, so it might be somewhere to think about. And the article we're going to be reading for today and tomorrow tells us all about this. It says, experience fall in Japan at the Fuji Five Lakes. The Fuji Five Lakes. So this sounds like an area of Japan, obviously probably near Mount Fuji. So sort of central Japan right there between Tokyo and Osaka. You can go to the Fuji Five Lakes, and hey, if you can do it in the fall, great time to go. You can take pictures and see the beautiful leaves. And here's another good tip. Traveling during the months of October and November, you can often save a little bit of money because not so many people travel that way. There's a little bit of advice for you, but the main thing is get your COVID shots and make sure you're doing this all safely, okay? We'll be back with the article.
The beauty of Japan is best represented by Mount Fuji and its snow-covered peak. Since the mountain is surrounded by 5 lakes, the area is called Fuji Five Lakes, and autumn is the best season to visit. If you only have time to visit one lake, then make sure it's Lake Kawaguchigo. From its eastern shore, you can take a cable car ride and admire Mount Fuji from over 1,000 meters above sea level.
All right, so yes, the title of our article tells us actually quite a lot about what we'll be reading about today. It says, experience fall in Japan at the Fuji Five Lakes. I have to admit, this is a part of Japan I'd never really heard of. Of course, I know Fuji Mountain, or Mount Fuji as we more commonly call it, but I didn't know about the 5 lakes around Mount Fuji, so this will be interesting. Now, the article begins by talking about, of course, the world-famous Mount Fuji. It says, the beauty of Japan is best represented by Mount Fuji and its snow-covered peak. Yeah, absolutely. This is probably one of the most famous mountains in the whole world. You just have to show a picture of the shape of it with the snow and the sort of flat top of the volcano, and a lot of people will know Mount Fuji. They know it's in Japan. They know all sorts of stuff because it is so beautiful. I was actually lucky enough to see Mount Fuji just from an airplane once as I was flying out of Tokyo, and I felt really lucky to see it, and it is absolutely gorgeous. It is a snow-covered peak. Yeah, since it's quite high, the top or the peak, the top area of the mountain is covered with snow or snow-covered. And then it says, since the mountain is surrounded by 5 lakes, the area is called Fuji Five Lakes, and autumn is the best season to visit. So yes, people know the mountain, but they might not know, like I didn't know, about the 5 lakes in the area. This whole area, the mountain and the lakes, is the Fuji Five Lakes area of Japan. And yes, good tip, autumn is the best season to visit. Autumn or fall, the season that comes near the end of the year between summer and winter. The weather's cooling, the leaves are changing color, and as I said, it's a cheaper time to travel because most people get to travel during the summer. So there you go. But Japan is often represented by Mount Fuji. As I said, if you showed a picture of Mount Fuji, people might look at it and go, oh, Japan. They'll think of the country of Japan because of this famous mountain. So it kind of represents the country. Now, if something represents, it stands for. It takes the place of. You look at this thing, and even though it's a very different thing, you think of another thing, or it takes the place of another thing. Flags represent countries, right? If I wave a flag at a sports event, you know I'm cheering for that country, the countries whose flag I'm waving, because the flag represents the country. Or people could also, right? When the president of Taiwan meets another government or travels to another country, that president, he or she from Taiwan, represents the people of Taiwan. We can't all go and meet that president at that big meeting, so our president does our job and stands for the country as a person taking the place of a nation, a country, and all the people in it. So that president represents the people of the country. For example, the triangles on the map represent major cities. If you look at a map and you see what's that red triangle? Is that a mountain? No. That's a big city. On many maps, a star, right, will represent the capital city, the city where the government and the leaders all live. It takes the place of, it stands for. And anyways, these 5 lakes, they surround Mount Fuji. When something surrounds something, it encircles. It makes a circle. It is on all sides around something. So when you hug someone, your arms are kind of surrounding that person. If you see someone working at a zoo and they're feeding the hungry chickens or something, the chickens will all stand around in a circle waiting for, a handful of food. That person will be surrounded by hungry animals or something like that. And here's something else that surrounds things: walls or fences. The ancient castle is surrounded by stone walls. If you build a wall to protect your castle and it's open on one side, it doesn't surround the castle, but there's a big space, well, of course, the other army will come through there and attack your castle. So you have to surround your castle or your fort with a wall. All right, back to the article. Now it says, if you only have time to visit one lake, remember there's 5, but if you're on a tight schedule, if you only have time to visit one lake, then make sure it's Lake Kawaguchiko or Kawaguchiko, but I think that would be Kawaguchiko. From its eastern shore, you can take a cable car ride and admire Mount Fuji from over 1,000 meters above sea level. So you won't actually have to climb Mount Fuji, which would be cool, but is hard work. Instead, you can take a cable car ride and you'll be up somewhere high near Mount Fuji, over 1,000 meters. And since you'll be so close, you'll get a great photograph or a great painting or whatever of Mount Fuji. This is after a cable car ride. And when we think of a cable car ride, we think of like Maokong gondola, right? That kind of thing. It's a little box and it runs on a cable. What is a cable? A cable is kind of like a rope. It's very strong and it holds things or pulls things or carries things. But instead of being made of something natural, a cable is made of metal. So basically you get thin pieces of metal, long thin pieces of metal, wrap them up together into a big rope, and that is a cable, a rope made out of metal. For example, thick cables were used to keep the cars from sliding off the ship. Oh yeah, on the ocean, you might want to tie things down with a cable. And of course, many bridges also use cables to hang the road kind of below the main part of the bridge. So there you go, a cable car ride, a camera, beautiful view, wonderful scenery. Those autumn leaves, sounds gorgeous. Let's take a break and then we'll be back with more of the Fuji Five Lakes.
Hello， 大家 好，我是 Hanny。在疫情期间，大家都不能出国旅游，我发现很多网友还有我身边的朋友，大家都好想念日本哦。那这2天的课文就要带我们去日本富士五湖来欣赏秋季美景。好，那么课文写到说，富士山以及它那白雪覆盖的山峰，最能代表日本之美。这座山被5座湖泊围绕，那这个区域就叫做富士五湖。如果你的时间只允许参观1座湖，那要确保你选的就是河口湖。从它的东岸，你可以搭缆车到海拔1000多公尺的地方来欣赏富士山。Mike 老师刚刚用到 gorgeous 来描述富士山，它是拼作 gorgeous，gorgeous 就是说非常美的、引人入胜的或是华丽的。这边还有3个单字 represent。当动词，它是指代表、象征或者是体现的意思。Surround 这个动词是环绕、包围。Mike 老师在讲解的时候，他用到 encircle， 就是在 circle 前面加上 en， 变成动词，就是环绕、围绕的意思哦。再来 cable， 它是指缆绳、钢缆，那么或者是有电缆的意思。文中这个 cable car 就是指缆车咯。那说到缆车，大家可能会想到猫空缆车，叫做猫空 gondola。其中这个 gondola 是拼作 gondola， 它是指悬挂的车体，也就是缆车的那个一个一个的车厢。好，那这个段落呢有2个重点，我们进入文法时间。好，我们来看第一个重点是 if 引导条件句的时候，可以用来表达可能发生的情况。那句型是 if 主词加动词逗号，主词加上 will、may 或是 can 再加动词，表达说如果怎么样啊，什么什么将会怎么样，可能怎么样，或是可以怎么样。举例来说 ，if it rains tomorrow, we will stay home and watch movies. 如果明天下雨，我们将会待在家里看电影。好，那另外主要子句呢，也可能会用祈使句来表达。这时候句型就是 if 主词加动词逗号祈使句。例如 if you can't beat them, join them. 如果打不过对方，就加入他们吧。那这句话呢，就类似中文说的无力胜之则从之。好，第2个重点是 make sure 加 that 子句，表达务必怎么样，确保某事发生。这个 that 可以省略。例如Please make sure that the front door is locked before you leave. 离开前，请确保前门有锁上。好，介绍课文中。
The area is also ideal for taking peaceful walks, and Oishi Park is the perfect setting for this activity. Here, you can walk among plants that are shaped like giant cotton balls. These plants are called summer cypresses and gradually turn from light green to deep pink as winter approaches. Beautiful fall colors continue at Momiji Tunnel, a maple tree-lined path that is located at the base of a hill. During the yearly fall festival, the trees are lit up in the evenings and food stands that sell local snacks are set up.
Okay, so the Fuji Five Lakes were there. It's wonderful, it's beautiful, but we are under some time pressure. So we went to Kawaguchiko, which is the best of the 5 lakes. If you can't visit them all, make sure you visit that one. As we go on in the article, we read, the area is also ideal for taking peaceful walks, and Oishi Park is the perfect setting for this activity. So if you want to take a nice walk through the beautiful landscape and the nature of this area, visit the most delicious park, Oishi Park. Isn't that delicious in Japanese? That's kind of like haochi gongyuan. Tasty, yum yum. But I think it's probably a slightly different meaning of this word, but I'm reading it as delicious park. Oishi Park. It's the perfect setting for a nice walk. Yeah, who doesn't like a nice walk in a lovely park on a cool autumn day? And there's other things. It says here you can walk among plants that are shaped like giant cotton balls. I have to see this because these are not cotton plants. Cotton, of course, is a plant. No, these are plants that are shaped like giant cotton balls. You know those cotton balls you might use in the bathroom to clean your face? Well, imagine a big one and a whole forest of them or a whole field of them or something like that. They have those in Oishi Park. It says these plants are called summer cypresses and gradually turn from light green to deep pink as winter approaches. This is amazing. I've never heard of something like this. I've never even seen these plants. Really, summer cypresses, and I guess if you go in September, they might be light green. As you get to October, November, these plants become deep pink, and they're shaped and they look like cotton balls. As we mentioned, cotton is a plant that people grow. Cotton balls are usually quite small, and of course, we use cotton to make clothing, right? You can use the cotton balls to clean your face, like I said, but then of course we can spin cotton into thread and then use cotton to make pants and shirts and all sorts of different clothes. But these things, these plants, these summer cypresses, they just look like cotton. It's not actually a cotton plant. Let's get back to the example sentence for the word cotton. The farmer uses a special machine to pick cotton. Yeah, people used to pick cotton. I guess now more and more farmers use a machine to do the hard work of picking the cotton from their fields. All right, back to the article. Beautiful fall colors continue at Momiji Tunnel, a maple tree-lined path that is located at the base of a hill. A nice path, a kind of rough road through the forest. And instead of being like a real tunnel made by people, this is trees growing together in a kind of tube. So you walk and you're surrounded, you're almost encircled by trees over your head, these maple trees. And of course, maple trees are famous for being green in the summer, but then turning beautiful colors of yellow, orange, red in the fall. So imagine how gorgeous that would be. It says during the yearly fall festival, the trees are lit up in the evenings and food stands that sell local snacks are set up. Oh, so there's kind of almost a party atmosphere in this forest. They'll have colorful lights to make the trees look beautiful even when the sun goes down. And if you are one of those nighttime visitors, you'll also be able to have some local snacks so you can walk around, eat your snacks, look at the picture, look at the beautiful scenery, and of course take some pictures. This happens yearly. When something happens yearly, this adjective just means every year or each year. Maybe just one time, but certainly every year on the calendar this will happen. Your birthday is a yearly event. Christmas, Chinese New Year, Halloween, these are yearly holidays. The Olympics, the World Cup, or a presidential election, those are not yearly. Those happen every 4 years. So we wouldn't say those are yearly, but other things like the NBA playoffs or the Oscar awards, those are all yearly. They happen every year. For our example sentence, it says, in Taiwan, most people file their yearly taxes in May. Yes, you have to pay your taxes yearly too. You can't pay them every 4 years when there's an Olympics. That just wouldn't be good. All right, guys, we're going to take a break because it's the end of our article, but it's not the end of the unit. We'll have more about the 5 Fuji Lakes tomorrow, so come on back for that. Bye-bye.
接着来到河口湖的大石公园，在这边你可以散步来欣赏地夫 （Summer Cypress） 这种植物，它们形状就很像巨大棉花球，然后冬天来的时候会逐渐从浅绿色变成深粉红色。而下一个景点是红叶隧道，光听名字就知道它一定很美。那每年的秋季庆典期间，这里的晚上就会点亮枫树，然后还会摆设卖当地食物的摊位。来看单字 cotton。Cotton 就是棉花或是棉，那么 yearly 它是形容每年一次的年度的，而这个段落有2个重点，我们进入文法时间。好，我们来看第一个重点是 light up something 是指点亮什么，让什么亮起来。那么 light 当动词，它的3态是 light、lit。像有一首经典老歌叫做 You light up my life， 你照亮我的生命。第二个重点是 set up， 当及物用的时候，可以表达设置、设立。那么 set 3态同形，例如 Let's set up the tent， 就是说我们来把帐篷架设起来吧。好，那以上是今天的讲解，同学们别走开，马上回来哦。
The beauty of Japan is best represented by Mount Fuji and its snow-covered peak. Since the mountain is surrounded by 5 lakes, the area is called Fuji Five Lakes, and autumn is the best season to visit. If you only have time to visit one lake, then make sure it's Lake Kawaguchiko. From its eastern shore, you can take a cable car ride and admire Mount Fuji from over 1,000 meters above sea level. The area is also ideal for taking peaceful walks, and Oishi Park is the perfect setting for this activity. Here, you can walk among plants that are shaped like giant cotton balls. These plants are called summer cypresses and gradually turn from light green to deep pink as winter approaches. Beautiful fall colors continue at Momiji Tunnel, a maple tree-lined path that is located at the base of a hill. During the yearly fall festival, the trees are lit up in the evenings and food stands that sell local snacks are set up.
Hi, I'm Kim.
And I'm Brandon.
And we're going to play a game called Word Drop, where we each have words from your lesson on these cards, and we have to work them into our conversation as casually as possible. Brandon, you're first.
I'm first. Okay, let's find out what I got. Okay. Okay, all right. You know, when I'm just going through my day-to-day life and I find new people that I like, these friends, sometimes they're not very good. They turn out to be bad friends. And so what I like to do is I like to surround myself with just the best of friends.
Yeah, that's a good strategy for life, right? Surround yourself with good friends and make sure the people around you have your best intentions at heart and all that kind of stuff. And, if I have to dispense any kind of life advice, as you just did to me, that was nice. I would recommend that you buy things that are 100% cotton. It's good for you.
Okay. If I had to rank that in my life advice that I've gotten, gosh, that's gotta be the #1 advice I've ever heard, really.
It's up there.
Wow. Buying 100% cotton, I actually, I buy cotton yearly.
Oh.
Yeah, I buy it yearly.
So every year you're just out there buying cotton, going to cotton distributors and going to the fields maybe and picking it yourself and making things out of it yourself. And if you only have time, maybe you can make your whole wardrobe from cotton.
That is possible. That is definitely possible. I could have all of my clothes made of my own cotton that I've had. One of the most interesting pieces of fashion that I ever saw was this girl. She made a dress out of just cables.
Whoa.
Like power cables and things like that. Just cables wrapped around cables.
Well, you know what I think you should do? I think you should make your own clothing brand with cotton and cables, and you should put on a fashion show. You should take it all the way to Paris, Milan, New York, wherever the fashion shows are at, and you can say, this is Brandon's brand. Represent
cotton and cables.
See you next time.